is a gate of hope. Through here, the National Refugee Service brought nearly 1,000 victims of Hitler to freedom and security. It is the gate of Fort Ontario, near Oswego, New York. The ramparts bear scars of the battles of colonial times. The walls have echoed Indian war cries and French and British musket fire. But never before did Fort Ontario witness such a spectacle as on August 5th, 1944. On that day, a trainload of refugees arrived at the fort, directly off the boat from Europe. Here was a safe haven after years of flight and fear, of hiding, imprisonment, and worse. The American Army rescued them in Italy. They were brought here for wartime shelter. To their aid came the National Refugee Service, bringing the things people need. And these people needed everything. For 18 months, the refugees lived in Fort Ontario, and then the war ended. President Truman set a humanitarian example to all the nations. He issued a directive to speed immigration of displaced laws. This is the barracks apartment of the Greenstein family in Fort Ontario. It is the night of December 22nd, 1945. News of President Truman's directive. For these people, it means freedom, security, a home of their own in a land of their own after years of persecution and wandering. Government officials arrive at the fort to take applications for visas. Legal routines with human understanding. A badge, a uniform used to mean something else to these people. It was a symbol of hate, persecution. Now these refugees have learned that in America, you don't have to be afraid of a man in uniform. Mrs. Greenstein has steered the family through many a storm. This is Grandma. And Jan, who played a fast end for Oswego High, and Ernie, Boy Scout First Class, and Boris Greenstein, good husband, good father, potential good citizen, and 11-year-old Edie. The whole history of the Greensteins in their native Yugoslavia and during 7 years of wandering is recorded and sworn to. And there are many more steps to be taken, all part of the selective process under the immigration law. Everyone in the shelter is in a fever of preparation. Even the little folk catch it for a while. At the shelter nursery, it's business as usual. This is one of the many special facilities which NRS supported at Oswego over and above the necessities of food and shelter provided by the government. All of these things were financed by the United Jewish Appeal. These tots know nothing of the anxieties which even now beset their parents. The Greensteins are going to have a new home in America, but where will it be? They turn to the National Refugee Service. On the job is a staff of 25, including several professional workers from the National Council of Jewish Women. By this time, the NRS has given the government its corporate affidavit as a basis for issuing visas to the Jewish residents at Fort Ontario. Catholic and Protestant organizations have done the same for their groups. This assures the admission of all those who are eligible, among them the Greensteins. They tell the interviewer that they want to live in New York City. Like most refugees, at first they can't conceive of any other place to go. It's amazing how many of these people still think that anywhere west of the Hudson River, they're liable to be scalped by Indians. Have the Greensteins any friends elsewhere in the country? Yes, Mr. Greenstein has a good friend in Cleveland, Mr. Miller. He's in the clothing business, same as Mr. Greenstein used to be. The nationwide NRS network, the only one that does this job, begins to function. All over the country, in more than 1,000 cities, towns, and villages, there are local groups cooperating in the resettlement program. 65 communities have agreed to accept quotas of the Oswego refugees and to help them get on their feet. A professional worker mobilizes the resources of NRS for the Greensteins. She helps the family understand why they will be better off and happier in a small community. She makes all the arrangements with the local agency in Cleveland. A traffic expert arranges the family trip. Niagara Falls, Buffalo, then by train to Cleveland. And there won't be any hitch there. The local agency gets full details. The Greenstein's friend, Mr. Miller, will help secure a home for the family and a job for the father. Everything is set. The head of the NRS staff at Fort Ontario checks over the file. Nothing is to go wrong. The future security and happiness of a family are involved here. Incidentally, a family needs money, so cash is advanced to them. This is to cover the cost of transportation, fees, and taxes. Also included is an allowance for initial living expenses. The first group of shelter residents is due to leave tomorrow for the American consulate in Niagara Falls, Canada. That's where they get their visas. So there's one last big party. The refugees dance their specialty, the hokey pokey. They learned that from British soldiers in Italy. Seven-year-old Georgie Neufeld can't remember his father, who was believed dead in Europe. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Neufeld was found alive, so Georgie sings his own version of a popular song.
I'm going to love my daddy like it's never been loved before. I'm going to show my daddy he's the fellow that I adore. When he's in my arms again, our dreams will all come true. Then the years peace we may never have been. We start our lives anew. I'm going to kiss my daddy like it's
They're on their way. The first group of 100 people leaves for Niagara Falls in buses chartered by NRS. The weather is sub-zero, but their friends turn out before dawn to see them off. Over the Rainbow Bridge to Canada. Here, too, the travelers are on friendly soil. They arrive outside the United States consulate. These people have crossed many a frontier, often in the stealth of night, in fear, with known enemies behind them and unknown perils ahead. Now, for the first time, they cross friendly borders in broad daylight with confidence and new courage. Consul Graves greets the future Americans. They swear and gladly to obey the laws of the United States. At last they have those precious red-sealed papers which assure the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They know now that the American tradition of haven for the oppressed is something more than words on paper. This is the way the National Refugee Service resettled more than 900 residents of the Fort Ontario shelter in 65 cities and towns, in 19 states from coast to coast, in less than 4 weeks. The job was made possible through funds given by Americans to the United Jewish Appeal. The promise of the future and the memory of the past, reasons to be grateful to America. They are no longer refugees. They are not going to a strange country. They are going home. Now they are new Americans.